Hello and welcome to the Manifestation Mastery Retreat information session. We're going to chat all about the Manifestation Mastery Retreat that is coming up July 9th to the 13th in 2026 in Moffat, Colorado, an amazing hot springs spiritual retreat center. I designed this retreat to help you activate your next level self. So this is some of the ladies from last year. My husband facilitates some of the sessions. I'll talk about that in a minute. It is a women's retreat, but we had this amazing time masterminding and there's a lot of tools and information, but really it's about embodying. How do you step into the next version of yourself? Is not about getting more tools in your toolbox. It's about learning how to live and breathe and practice those tools so we can create your next version of yourself. And I use neuroscience and a bunch of really fun science-based and spiritual-based tools and techniques to help us get there because it's again not about learning. Part of embodiment is releasing resistance and stepping into that. So I've got a bunch of really cool tools to share with you. So if you don't know me, my name is Kitty Coy. I am the host of this retreat, and I really created. I like to say I created this retreat to be a sacred portal to step out of the old and into the bold, to release whatever's not serving you and step into your bold next version of yourself. But a little bit about me, I am a magnetic mind coach. I literally teach ambitious women how to turn their mind into a magnet using neuroscience and quantum physics. There's 3 simple steps. Get crystal clear in your heart's deepest desire. Honestly, that's the hardest step. And we'll talk about that later. But get crystal clear in your heart's deepest desire. Release the resistance to having it and get into action. That's it. That's what I teach people to do, but use neuroscience to get there faster and easier. I am the manifestation mentor and personally a manifesting machine. I created a simple 4-step strategy on how to manifest in 2018 because in that year I manifested 7 free vacations in a year. And that's when I figured out how I was doing that. So I share a lot of my tips and tools and techniques and what might be holding you back from manifestation. It all comes out in this retreat. I am actually a neuroscientist. So I have a master's degree in neuroscience, among a bunch of other academic certification and academic training and other certification. But I actually worked as a behavioral neurophysiologist doing drug development testing for the FDA and clinical research for over 10 years. And specifically, I studied how the structure of your brain affects your behavior and how your behavior actually changes the structure of your brain. So that's my background. I am a best-selling author of the book Live an Empowered Life Now. We're about to celebrate the 3-year anniversary of that book. I am a professional speaker. I was the expert in front of a group 205 times last year. So I am passionate about speaking, sharing, and educating. I am a community curator. So my favorite thing is being around people that are of a similar vibration, people that lift me up, people that are on their personal growth and transformation journey. So I curate communities in my personal life and in my professional life of people that support each other because we are a sum of the people we surround ourselves with. So I choose to surround myself and everyone I know with high vibe people. I am a personal development enthusiast. I've done a lot of different trainings, both on the personal development side and the spiritual development and consciousness raising side. So I've done a lot of energetic conferences and things like that. And what I've learned, and I love personal development, but what I've learned is a lot of personal development actually holds us back because it teaches us to look for what's wrong with us and gives us the idea that when we fix that one thing that is wrong with us, then we can actually have this beautiful life that we desire. When in all reality, you can have that beautiful, amazing life now. You do not need to fix anything about yourself. You're perfect. You're not broken. And then I'm a hot springs aficionado. I love hot springs. There is over 200 hot springs in Colorado. Most people don't know that. And a lot of which are private. And we went to a private hot springs last year. This year, we're going to a spiritual retreat center that's on this amazing hot springs. But I have been, my goal is to go visit a hot springs on every continent that I can. And my favorite hot springs ever is Taipei, Taiwan. So I really, really love hot springs. And that's why I like to integrate them in this experience. I find that water is extremely grounding and supporting in helping you integrate quickly and shift because you are fully immersed in the frequency of the earth. So, the other facilitators for this retreat are Guthrie Coy. That's actually my husband. So he has a master's in reading the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records is an etheric library of all of the information that's ever existed, past, present, and future. Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, the guy that invented calculus, Isaac Newton, all said that they would pray or meditate, and this information would be downloaded into their mind. They were accessing that etheric library. They were accessing the Akashic Records. So my husband literally has a master's degree in accessing that. And so you will actually get a private session with him during the retreat to access your Akashic Record, because think of it as a library and everybody has their own shelf. So he can access for you to answer some questions. That's part of one of the final steps of the retreat. He is also a shaman with the rites of the Moon Eye Key and a spiritual alchemist. And so alchemy is about taking the lead in your life to gold. So I am a mental emotional alchemist. I help people turn their mental emotional lead in their lives to gold. And he does that on a spiritual level. And he's there to, you can see he has this beautiful, gigantic gong. So he facilitates a few different things. We learn about spiritual alchemy, which is a process. And I'll just talk about it now. I might have it on a slide later, but spiritual alchemy is the other side of the coin of personal development. And where personal development, we want it to be linear and logical, it's kind of all over the place and it's easy to get stuck. The difference about spiritual alchemy is spiritual alchemy has defined stages. It's like a staircase. And so when you learn the stages of spiritual alchemy, you can identify what stage you're in. There's a very defined step on how to get to the next stage. So in that way, spiritual alchemy actually supports you in getting unstuck when you find your personal development or transformation or growth process is kind of halted. You can turn to spiritual alchemy. So we teach you about spiritual alchemy. He leads a shamanic journey, which I would describe as a guided meditation. We go visit your alchemical temple, which is the seat of all the magic of your soul. And it's a really cool experience. And of course, he does a Akashic record reading for you. So, my other co-facilitator is Sabrina Harrison. She is a professional boudoir and branding photographer. She does retreats all the time. She's amazing. And she is facilitating the transformational goddess experience. So, with this retreat, we each participant gets a private photo shoot. So what happens is we teach you how to activate your magic. And while you're in that magic, you get a private photo shoot with her so that you have an anchor into a physical representation that reminds you of all the magic you experienced. And then you get an accordion, which is a cute little picture. It looks like an accordion little picture book. But this is what I mean by a transformational goddess photo shoot. This was, she helps you figure out what it is and she helps you increase your confidence for even people. But this was one of the images I took and I was like, how do I encapsulate that I help people activate the magic in their lives? And she was like, what if you were blowing glitter? So she's just amazing. And she supports you in creating these amazing custom photos that you get to keep. And it's included in the cost of the retreat. So what is the Manifestation Mastery Retreat? It is a 4-day transformational experience in the Colorado mountains. Nature is very much integrated in this. The retreat center has beautiful, like literally truly breathtaking views. They have walking labyrinths. They have meditation teepees in place where you can be outside. And so we're going to do in between trainings, lots of integration and downtime. If you want to jump in the hot springs, you can. If you want to marvel at the majesty of the absolutely gorgeous mountains with which it's in the San Luis Valley. So there's the San Juan Mountains on one side and the Sangre de Cristo Mountains on the other side. And you literally have a 360 view of the mountains where we are going in Colorado. And it's a very unique blend of neuroscience, manifestation, sisterhood, spiritual exploration, and soul activation. I like to say that I help people come home to the magic that's always been inside of them and unlock whatever that is to increase their access. For some people, it's learning how to tap into their intuition. For some people, it's really activating their soul's purpose. Whatever that is, you already have all of your magic and wisdom and your soul purpose, and everything is already inside of you. I just teach you and help you connect to that wisdom and magic inside of you. And it is really the goal, the end result is I want you to be able to walk away in the next level version of yourself, creating whatever that big dream is and coming from this place of empowerment, like you're on top of the world. And we'll talk about in a little while what the results of the retreat are. And I took the poll only a couple months after the retreat, and people had utterly and completely transformed their lives. So, that is what's possible for you should you choose into it. So, what you will experience is nothing short of magic. It's actually all neuroscience, but the experience, the feeling of it is magic. And so, you have private accommodations at this magical hot springs. There are some people that are choosing to share rooms, but you have access. The entire retreat center is booked out for you. So, you have access to whatever you need. There are daily rituals, group workshops, laser coaching, sisterhood circles. We teach a lot about neuroscience and manifestation. And it's not just like, here's some amazing thing about neuroscience you should know. It's like, how does this apply to your life? How can you, like, for example, understanding how your brain's filter works and how it filters out or allows in information and knowing how to switch that is really important for shifting your focus and manifesting more of what you want. Because oftentimes we're conditioned to look at scarcity and what's not there, and we need to flip our brain's filter to focus on what we are receiving. So it's very applicable day-to-day neuroscience. There are many sacred ceremonies. There's a fire ceremony. There's a shamanic journey. Again, that's the guided meditation. There's a gong healing. I'm considering adding a cacao ceremony to this because I'm feeling really called this year. I already mentioned the transformational goddess photo shoot is a big experience, your private photo shoot that you have with Sabrina. There's at least, so we do a lot of laser coaching in a group setting, but then you get a private 30 to 45-minute coaching session with me during the retreat to really help you activate and get clear on your action steps. Because I want you to walk away from this retreat knowing exactly what you're going to do the next day. Because again, information without implementation is kind of worthless. And so we want to get in a place where you know exactly what to do, what habits you're going to change, what actions you need to take. And so that's really powerful. So that's kind of what that laser coaching is about, is helping you get really clear. We actually approach your action steps from a mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual place. The approaching it from the spiritual place is when you get the private Akashic record reading with Guthrie. But yeah, so basically we're coming at your action steps from every single place to make sure you feel very clear on how to get your dream. Not just what it is, but how to get there. And then of course there is lots of nourishing meals, there is nature time, hot springs, and so much more. There's some surprises I haven't shared that are fun that I'll leave to surprise you when you're there. But I would describe myself as really, and this retreat, as where science meets spiritual, because that's truly where you can activate your next level of manifestation. In reality, if you understood everything that's classified as woo-woo, if you actually look and dig into what's happening, all of that is actually based in science. So science and spirituality are best friends. And I teach you kind of what you need to know and what you need to understand to use that to activate manifestation. So again, we have a lot of neuroscience-backed tools to rewire your brain for more happiness and success, to reset your nervous system for more abundance. There's energetic alignment tools that are rooted in quantum physics, not just, some wishful thinking or some, woo-woo practice that somebody shared. It is a deeply spiritual experience, but everybody experiences spirituality different. And so we find a way to make it work for everyone. In fact, we had somebody that came to the last retreat that's like, I'm not a spiritual person, but they walked away with this understanding of how to connect to themselves on a deeper level. And their experience of that was a spiritual experience. experience. So, there are embodiment practices. So we're going to do things, exercises, workshops, things during it that will help you ground, create a new belief system, for example, and get into your body and not just your mind. That's one of the biggest challenges with manifestation and creating a vision and all of these things is it is a fully integrated process in all levels of your being. It's not just your brain. And most people approach things from your brain, but we really focus on somatic embodiment. And then I already mentioned this, there's spiritual alchemy to release what's blocking you and activate your next level of power. Again, that's just taking the lead in your spirit or soul and turning it into gold. And then vision alignment to provide you a clear action plan of how to make your dreams a reality. So, in that way, we are very much science meets spiritual. And so here's 5 reasons you might want to say yes to the Manifestation Mastery Retreat. You have access to these amazing healing hot springs. And when we say soak your soul under the stars, we're not kidding. It's not officially sanctioned as what do they call it, a dark zone or whatever, where you can see the sky, but I've been there at night and like you can see the Milky Way. There's very little noise pollution because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And we are bringing our giant telescope. I have a 12-inch diameter telescope that you can see the rings of Saturn and the moons of Jupiter. And we're going to bring that to this retreat so you can literally do some stargazing, or you don't need a telescope. You can just be in these hot springs and soak in all of the beauty and the majesty of our entire cosmos. And again, hot springs, I feel like are very much allow you to release what's no longer serving you. It like rinses off in the water. And then there's cutting edge manifestation tools, so neuroscience packed tools, and spiritual alchemy, so you can shift your reality fast. Because we all, or many of us, have a belief that if you want to change something, it has to be hard and a struggle, and it's going to take a long time. But I can teach you how to collapse the timeline. I do a lot of quantum work where, I mean, people like I did. This woman just attended my vision workshop, and she was like, "In 10 years, I'd love to buy a home in the mountains." Within 9 months, she has had the keys in her hand to her dream mountain home. So, some other reasons to say yes to the Manifestation Master Retreat is the high vibe nature immersion. Like I said, you're surrounded by mountains, and being in nature is so supportive for personal transformation. So I like to say nature is your co-pilot. There's a next level sisterhood, the community that is created with the women that go. Last year when I did this retreat, those women are all still connected. We still have the WhatsApp group. We're still active. A lot of them have developed lifelong friendships from this retreat. And even if it's not a lifelong friendship, you are surrounded by like-minded women that you can connect on the soul level. Like you can support each other in creating collaborations. But community is one of the most important things that we have really on earth, because connection is what drives us and supports us and helps us thrive. Connection is one of the things that helps us move from survival to thriving. And so you have this amazing next level sisterhood at your fingertips forever. And then this retreat, if you choose this retreat could absolutely change who you are and how you operate, not who you are, like your personality characteristics, but how you're showing up and help you get to that next level, whatever that is. And my goal is for that to be with ease and fun and playfulness, connecting to your purpose with confidence and not as much hard work as you might think. Okay, so this is just some of the pictures we had from our magical moments. We did a roundtable mastermind. That's a picture in the middle. This is just us posing at the end. This at the end of the fire ceremony, we had us in the bathrobes in the bottom in the middle. At the end of the closing of the fire ceremony, we were around the fire in that moment. The upper right picture is a picture of someone reading their vision. So part of the process is you create a vision before you go to the retreat, and then you learn a little bit and recalibrate your vision a bit at the retreat. And then at the end, you read it. And it's a deeply powerful experience where literally all of us were in tears the whole time as we're visualizing each and every person living their vision. And I just think it's the picture on the bottom right is just a fun moment at the retreat. We had a woman that is a wine distributor. And so she brought some fun bottles to take pictures of. And she specifically brought the main character energy bottle, which if you don't know me, that fits. I definitely have some main character energy. But we had this beautiful moment at the retreat where one of the women In the opening intention setting part, she was like, I feel like I'm corked. I just want to take this cork out. And what's amazing is this woman that was the wine distributor went to her, just quietly got up, went to her room and had a bottle of champagne that says uncork your possibilities. And so literally I have goosebumps telling this story. So for the photo shoot, the woman that said that she felt corked uncorked that bottle and celebrated. And so in that way, like the woman that she brought only a few wine bottles. She did intentionally bring main character energy for me, but she brought Uncork Your Possibilities, and that's exactly what that woman needed to experience for her transformation. So that's what I mean by sisterhood and community. It's really, really magical moments. So is this retreat for you? This is just a picture of what this is the last place we went, which is just down the road. But this retreat is for you if you've manifested before, but it's inconsistent. Can manifest sometimes, but not others, and you don't know what the difference is. And I hear from people all the time, well, I can manifest a parking spot, or occasionally people are like, I can manifest my dream partner, but I can't seem to manifest more money in my business, or my big dream, my big vision. I'm having trouble manifesting that. So, if you know a little bit about manifestation and you're wanting to step in more into it, I would love to support you. If you're craving clarity, alignment, and like an alignment with your purpose and with your highest level of being, I like to say this retreat helps you connect. It connects you to yourself. It connects you like your current self, your higher self. It connects you to spiritual wisdom. It connects you to other women. Like this is all about connection and helping you break through whatever's holding you back. And this retreat is for you if you're ready to step into your next level of success. It doesn't matter if it's personal or professional, but if you're ready to claim that next level with confidence, this retreat is for you. And if you're done playing small, if you know that something is calling you to play a bigger game and you want to create a powerful change for yourself and the world, this retreat is for you. So here's what some of the past attendees have said about the retreat. The retreat was restorative and transformative. Kitty and Guthrie are an amazing team, and the location was transcendent. Highly recommend this experience for anyone looking to level up. A magical experience with a great combination of learning, experiencing, interacting with others, and a beautiful environment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you both for creating this retreat weekend for us with such fine attention to detail and thought for what would be extraordinary. It really came through in a whole amazing and magical experience. So these are just some of the testimonials people shared. And so let's get to what the results actually are. So we had 7 amazing women at the last retreat, and one of them submitted a book that she had been procrastinating for years. Like literally, it was mostly ready. And before we even left the weekend, she sent it to the final editing. And because she broke through what was holding her back in taking that step. We have somebody, and by the way, most of this is I reached out to these people about 2 to 3 months after the retreat. So we had one attendee that doubled their business revenue in 3 months, and they were already successful, but they really stepped in that next level of their business. There was one woman that came with some like a question on her heart about how a fairly big life transformation, and she decided at the retreat she was ready to take this bold action that she'd been thinking about. It had been on the back burner for 10 years. She'd been too scared to take the action, but literally within a few days of coming back, she initiated that change, and it was a magical experience for her. She was hesitating because she thought it would be a negative experience, and she said it was quite pleasant and quite fun, and it was so much easier than she thought. So there is one participant that created a new 2 new business collaborations that are absolutely flourishing, both her original business and these 2 collaborations. We have somebody that implemented healthy habits and routines that are super nourishing to them. And as a result, I just wrote about this in my newsletter. Her marriage improved, her fitness improved, her blood test improved, like all of these, like, so her relationship, her health, her business, she made more money. She has a better relationship to her children, and she's overall happier because of these routines and habits that she implemented, that she was really stuck on. We have another person that really came back and brought this new level of understanding to their family and friends, stopped yelling at her kids so much, started connecting with her partner more. And there was another participant that had new visions for where to go in a business. They were initiating a pivot and they were right they had kind of like, who wouldn't it be neat if I did this? And when they came out, they're like, I'm doing this. They pivoted their business. And in, has it been what, 6 months since, no, 7 months since that retreat, that new business is now flourishing. So those are just some of the results from the last year's attendees. So now I'd love to share with you a little bit more about the nuts and bolts of the Manifestation Mastery Retreat, the little details that make it what it is. So the dates are July 9th to the 13th, 2026. So it is a 4-day, 4-night experience. You get there on the 9th and then you leave on the 13th. So technically that fourth day is split a little bit, but it's a Thursday to a Monday. And the location is Moffat, Colorado. Again, it's in the middle of nowhere. If you know anything about Colorado, it's about an hour south of Buena Vista. And it's about, oops, sorry, 3 hours southwest of Denver. So it's really easy to get to, very straight shot from the airport. Literally, I think once you get out of the airport, you only have to like take a couple, like it's like 3 turns the entire time to get there. It's literally quite straight shot. So, anyways, there's very limited availability. It sold out last year at 7 spots, and and I haven't updated this number. We're 40% sold out at this moment. And so we only have 6 more spots available. And so you're basically getting early access. I guarantee this retreat will sell out, because I've just really kind of started working on selling it consistently and actively. So, some of the perks of joining the Manifestation Mastery Retreat is there are 4 months of connection calls before the retreat. There's a little bit of training incorporated them, and some support, but it's mostly getting to know the other people so you feel comfortable and you can be vulnerable, or you can be whatever you want to be because you've developed a relationship ahead of time. On the very first call, we'll talk about some of the neuroscience stuff I do. I'll give you an introduction to what that neuroscience, what those tools mean, and you can ask questions about how they work, things like that. And that's the call in April. You'll get this in the schedule, but the call in April is introduction of the neuroscience tools. The call in May is the Sabrina will come on and teach us about the Transformational Goddess photo shoot, and what that looks like, giving us lots of options, helping us figure out and plans. We have plenty of time if we want to buy a dress or something. Again, nothing is required, but if you desire to do that, you have plenty of time to plan. The third call in the beginning of June is Guthrie will come on and talk about some of the spiritual aspects, and people will have the opportunity to ask questions. And then the fourth call, which is the very end of June, about 8 days before you'd be leaving for the retreat, is basically, what do you need? Nuts and bolts. There's no real agenda except connection and answering questions. So anyways, those connection calls are amazing. And I would say if we were looking at value, just estimating, because there is training and tools and support and all of that, I would estimate it valued about $400. There is 3 months of access to the Empowered Living membership. So you actually, for this retreat, you basically, even though it's only a 4-day experience, you can make it a 3-month experience from April to after the retreat. You have access to all of my trainings, and I do a weekly mindset training every week for the last almost 5 years, I think 4 or 5 years. And so there is, in the Empowered Living membership, there's 450 to 500 hours of content and training around neuroscience. So if you are really noticing that you're self-sabotaging, we have a call about recognizing self-sabotage, and then we have another call about shifting it. We have calls about that, and every single call is not just training, but there's neuroscience-based tools to actually help you shift. Because again, it's not about just learning something. We need to shift your belief system or something like that. So we did the call we did today in the Empowered Living membership. The calls are all live and recorded, so don't worry if you can't make it live, but the calls are Wednesday at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And the call we did this morning was upgrading your belief system. I'm going to include that one again. I don't repeat a lot of content, but that's one I'm going to repeat again from between April and June, so everyone can experience that. But there's also accountability and support. There's monthly planning and reflection calls, quarterly planning. There's all these tools and resources, and you have access to all of it for 3 months. And so the value of the membership, I charge $297 a month for that membership, and you have access to for 3 months, which is valued at 891. And then you have access to the Create Your Vision workshop. So this is a ticket to the vision workshop, plus that comes with a 30-minute coaching call afterwards. And I mentioned this earlier in my introduction is, believe it or not, the hardest part of manifestation is getting crystal clear in what you want. Because so much of what we want is the opposite of what we don't want. We want abundance because we want to stop living paycheck to paycheck. We want love because we're lonely. We want wellness because we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it is amazing when we dig into what people want. It's either an illusion of safety. So there's 7 things you can't manifest. And if you come to the retreat, you'll learn all about this. I also teach about it in my free webinars. The 7 things you can never manifest are comfort, control, freedom, independence, safety, stability, and security. Because if you had those things, you wouldn't be wishing for them. So why getting clear on what you want is actually one of the most challenging parts, because oftentimes we're chasing the illusion of safety or comfort or control or one of those 7 things you can't manifest, or we're trying to move away from something we don't want. So we really dig in the workshop. I teach you how to write a vision, and we go through a neuroscience-based process on how to write a vision. Again, if you're not picking up a theme, everything is neuroscience-based tools that are very experiential. And so that's what the workshop looks like, is you learn how to write a vision. We use the tools to help you tap it. The neuroscience-based tool gets you out of your conscious mind, past your subconscious mind, and helps you tap into your heart's deepest desire. And that is a really super powerful experience. And then you actually you start writing your vision. And then 2 to 3 weeks later, you'll meet with me and you'll read me your vision, and I'll help you calibrate it to make sure it's manifesting effectively. I'll help you through any roadblocks or any steps. So you'll support all along the way and getting crystal clear about your vision before you get to the retreat. Because you want to be clear on what you want before you get there, because then we'll have the tools to activate you while you're there. The vision workshop is April 2026. There's a couple different dates. There's a morning time and an evening time to accommodate people's schedules and time zones. And it's valued at $297 because there's a lot of amazing stuff and a private coaching session that goes into that workshop. So if you add up this total value of all of the perks, it's $1,788. And these are just the resources that are built into the retreat that you automatically get. And so again, it's meant to be a 3-month experience. And you can tap into that 3 months as much or as little as you want. It's there for you as a resource. And that's why I'm your guide to support you. I will meet with you privately during the 3 months to make sure we'll talk about some of the challenges you face. And I can, even if you don't want to just join my membership and just every week go on calls, I'll point you to specific resources that are going to support you the most. And then the early bird bonuses. So the early bird technically ends at the end of this week. But anybody who has registered for these calls and is getting their recording before that, I'm happy to honor an extension up to the first week of March. So we have some time to have a conversation. So the early bird bonuses is you can access the recording I do this vision workshop quarterly. And so you can access the January 2026 vision workshop. So again, the recording, I'm happy to sit with you if you do that, and we can do a private coaching session as well. So again, valued at $297. You have access to the Eagle Squad Mastermind. So I have the Empowered Living membership is my ongoing membership. And then for people who are ready to take it to the next level, I have an Eagle Squad Mastermind. So that is really high level implementation and embodiment of the tools. Empowered Living membership is really teaching you the tools and then using neuroscience to help release the resistance, but it's very much you are building your life based on how can I implement these shifts. Eagle Squad Mastermind is about embodying your next level of success. And really, what does that look like? What does that mean to you? So I will provide you access to the top trainings. By the way, I charge $497 a month for those Eagle Squad Mastermind, for my Eagle Squad Mastermind. So you're getting access to like my top, I haven't decided, I'm going to base it on my intuition, the top 3 to 5 trainings from that. And so that's valued at, conservatively $997. You also have access to a manifestation map out. So this is a 2.5 hour small group experience that you would do after your vision workshop to help you really get clear in what are you manifesting. That way you don't have to, if you do the vision workshop in April, I don't want you to have to wait 3 months to get started. The manifestation map out will be happening in May, and will support you in basically what are the habits that you might want to start implementing. How can you start living your vision and manifesting now? And then we'll get you to the next level of that in July. So that's valued at $247. That's what I charge to join that little small group experience. And then you get exclusive access to me during the retreat. I'm going to do these like captain's table experiences. So anyone who's joining on the early bird will get access to that small group experience and special things within the retreat time. And that's valued at $197. So if we total all the early bird bonuses together, the value is $1,738. So let's actually talk about the overall value and then the cost. So the overall value, if you add in the retreat, I'm estimating it's adding all these things in is $5,000 for the 4 days of transformational work. Workshops, laser coaching, ceremony, sisterhood circles. You get 3 months of training from April to July. You receive the tools that you need now to activate that next level so you don't have to wait and you don't have to work so hard to implement your manifestation. There are meals and hot springs and accommodations, and all of that stuff is included. And there is a professional 30-minute photo shoot with an incredible photographer. So the value of that is very conservatively at $5,000. The retreat perk value is $1,088. The early bird bonus is $1,738. So if you total all that up, the total value of the retreat is $8,526. And it is not even anywhere near that price. And so the pricing of the retreat is $24.97. And there are many different payment plans available. If you want to go, we can find a payment plan to work for you. I have some people that are like, I want to do a lump sum, or I want to pay in 3. I have people on 8-month payment plans, 10, whatever it takes. If this is an aligned yes for you, I'm committed to finding a way to make it work for you. And so $24.97 is the cost for the retreat. And you apply for consideration. We want to make sure that you're a good energetic match to work with me and for the group. And it's really just a $250 deposit to secure your spot. If you do the deposit and secure your spot, and then when we look at, because the application also considers human design. I don't teach human design, but I utilize human design. I live human design. And I guess I do teach it a little bit. I'm not certified in human design, but there's one specific design type that energetically I'm not a match for. But the good news is if you are in that type, I have an amazing person that I can send you to for additional support. But anyways, and if you did the $250 deposit and it didn't work out for us being an energetic match, I would be happy to return that. And then the housing costs are separate, paid directly to Joyful Journeys. So how they have it set up, because you get to pick whatever type of room you want. They have yurts, they have hotel rooms, they have rooms where you can, like, they have yurts that fit 5 people, they have yurts that are for 1 person. And so the $24.97 is for the food, the training, the photo shoot, all those other things. And then depending on the type of accommodation you get, it's $780 to $1,000 is the VIP, like, executive suite in their hotel. So it's like a king size bed and a kitchen and whatever. That's $1,000. So most of the rooms are in the $780 to $880 range. And that's for 4 nights. So it's just about or around $200 a night, paid to the retreat center directly. You actually pay that in two times. You pay a 50% deposit up front with them, and then you then the rest is taken on July 2nd. Yeah, 7 days before the retreat, starting on the 9th. So the total cost of the retreat, depending on what room you get, what you want to do, is $3,277 to $3,497. So basically, $3,200 and changed up to $3,500 is the pricing range. And again, the range is just dependent on what you want. Right now, every size of room is still available. So because they have many different, they have multiple yurts, and I think everybody's picked something different. So multiple different sizes of yurts and hotel rooms and stuff. So whatever you want is available to you. If you did choose to do double occupancy and split the room with somebody, that is an option, and I'm happy to connect you with what that looks like. And so I would love to make magic happen together. So if your soul is whispering yes, or even maybe, I would love to jump in a conversation and just see if it's a good fit for you.